Hello everyone. In this module, we're talking about some of the professional practices topic as they apply to kitchen and bath design. So in this video, let's talk about project budget. At the beginning of any interior design project, kitchen and bath or otherwise, right, you're going to work with your client to assess their needs and their goals. What do they want for this project? And that includes their budget goals. All right, so you've got to discuss that project budget. This is really common in general, unless your client has carefully researched before meeting with you. There's a good chance that their budget is not in the same range as their initial ideas. Right? So it's one reason that you need to discuss it right in the beginning of the project. Right? So you'll want to get an idea of their budget, and then you'll have to focus in on their design priorities and how you can achieve those within their budget. Right? So help your client think about what they really want, what they really need, what they only just would like to have in their kitchen or bathroom, right? And then you can make those budget decisions. Various factors affect the cost of a project, and these are really basic, all right? The first one is size. Obviously, the larger the project, the more it's going to cost, right? Project scope, whether you are completely gutting an existing space, whether you're adding on to an existing home, whether you're just updating some finishes of an existing space, this will make a big difference in the cost. Where's your project located? We all know that here in California, our costs are higher than in some other places in our country. And finally, this is a big one, material quality and finish level. Right? So choosing high-end and luxury materials, right, can very much impact your project cost. Let's look a little bit deeper at project scope and this difference between a renovation and a remodel. Right? A renovation is going to be replacing something. All right, so replacing or resurfacing cabinets. The layout will stay. All right, you're not moving the toilet from here to here, you're simply replacing it in place. This is going to cost much less. Right? A remodel means changing the structure or creating something new. Right? Removing a wall, creating an open concept, moving the plumbing around in general. These types of projects are going to take longer, all right? They're going to cost more, and you may need more professionals. You might need a structural engineer, you might need an architect, etc. So you have an initial budget from your client, all right? And now you've started your design and you'd like to check whether you're on track, all right? Or maybe you've completed a design and you need a final budget. How do you do that? One easy way is to create a spreadsheet, all right? And you're going to list all the items in your design. And this is great to coordinate with your floor plan legend and mechanical legend. So if you have something, labeled number 1 on your floor plan legend, you might want to label it number 1 right here on this budget, right? And then you'll capture those individual costs. What does the item cost? All right, what's the price? You want to subtotal those for each category. Right? For example, your lavatory, your toilet, and your bathtub might be in a fixtures category. And that'll help you understand the category costs. Right? And of course, then you'll have a total. You can use this same document to collect all sorts of data about your products, photo, link to the website. You could have it as a total specifications sheet, etc. Or you could simply just collect price information. Here's an example spreadsheet, and this one is linked into your module so you can copy it and adapt for your own use. And you can see that on the left-hand side, I've got categories, cabinetry, countertops, fixtures and fittings, plumbing, demolition, and total. All right. The next column here is for item, and so you would place items in their individual category. Next, we collect some information about those items, photo, their brand and model number, notes. Also, if you are tagging these on the plan, you might include those numbers. Any other information that you'd like to capture would be great here. Right? And finally, the next columns are about cost. All right, you could have unit costs and quantity. For example, you've got 5 of these and they cost $100. All right, and you'll have a total cost. On the far right side is listed some average percentages, and I'll talk about those in a minute. Let's make sure you understand about 2 different types of costs that you can see. One is things are priced by unit and some things are priced by area. All right. For example, if one light fixture costs $200, all right, and you've got 5 light fixtures used in the project, you can simply multiply that out and get a $1,000 cost for light fixtures for your project. Right. Some things are priced by square footage. If a particular type of flooring costs $50 per square feet and you use 100 square feet of it, you multiply those and you've got a $5,000 cost for the flooring. All right, let's talk about these typical budget allocations. And that was the right-hand column that you saw a couple of slides back on the spreadsheet. All right. Better Homes and Gardens has published these typical budget allocations for kitchen projects and bath projects. All right. Now take these with a grain of salt. Of course, they are averaged over many, many projects, and your project could have more or less in any one category. But they are useful, all right, to guide your initial selections. How would we do that? Let's take a look right here in the bathroom category. We see that the bathtub it says 8 to 12%, so let's use a 10% number, all right? So commonly, a bathtub is about 10% of the total budget. So if you, for example, were working with a bathroom remodel with a total budget of $10,000, all right, 10% of that would be $1,000, and that should be your around your price for your bathtub. These illustrations are placed in your lecture notes in a bigger scale in case you need to zoom in a little bit. Now, these project costs that we've been talking about so far are simply the initial product costs only. Right? There's lots of other costs in a design project. Right? First of which is design fees. Those are your interior design fees. Right? Setting those design fees, that's a whole other topic. All right, but just know from your client's perspective, I mean, it all comes out of the same pocket. So they will count that as part of the total project costs. Permits. Permits can cost anywhere from $500 to quite a bit more. All right, so you want to make sure that your client knows and that that's included in the total budget. And then on the right-hand side of this slide, you'll see a number of things that come under the category of kind of the general contractor. All right, and these are things that are very difficult for an interior designer to estimate. All right, so you're going to work with a contractor on this. So there'll be costs for the rough plumbing and carpentry. These are the pipes, the fittings within the walls. All right, not the finished pieces that you as the designer might choose. All right, but the rough pipes, the framing of the walls, doors, windows, ceilings, etc. The next part is all the installation and the labor. This is a large cost, all right? And the rule of thumb, this is really rough rule of thumb, but the rule of thumb is that that installation labor is going to be roughly equal to the item cost. All right, so if you've got a $2,000 bathtub, it's going to be an additional $2,000 to install. There are costs for demolition, haul away, and cleanup. There are costs for unexpected items. Overages, things that cost more than maybe you were estimated at the beginning of a project, and change orders. And finally, there are costs for the contractor's markup. All right, this includes their overhead and their profits. This is not that a contractor is trying to cheat you or get away with anything. This is part of their normal business expenses, all right, and should be expected. It can be up to 50% or more of the project cost estimates. So most of the time you will be working with a contractor and they'll be the one providing the detailed estimates. You'll see kind of two different types of estimates from a contractor. The first one is an area cost estimate. This is an average and it's really useful in the beginning stages of design. All right, and the beginning stages of setting a budget with your clients. These averages will come from the contractor's experience, their previous work, their knowledge of the local prices, etc. And they will vary depending on the finish level materials selected. All right, so that's where you as a designer can have some big impact on there. For example, you could be quoted $200 per square foot. All right, and this will be a total cost of the project that they're aiming for. All right, includes everything, but it's not specifically itemized. When you get a little bit further into the design, mostly complete or maybe a final estimate, you can get an itemized list of costs. All right, this will usually include installation and markup and will be quite a bit more accurate. And it's commonly called a takeoff. All right, so in this video, we just covered the topic of project budgets. You learned what they are and why they are important. We touched on some ways that interior designers can create a project budget, and then also to work with contractors to include the other costs of a project. Thanks, everyone.